let's get started. Oh, my camera's off. Oh no. Well, that's fun, isn't it? Okay. I'm going to turn down my music real quick so that we can hear each other. Okay, and as I fart around with a few more settings, here I am working really hard to make sure that everything is where I need it to be. And if you've been hanging out for a few minutes, you probably saw the black and white. I have another camera here watching me get all ready to go. And there's so many things I keep forgetting need to be done. There we go. Now I'm going to close up this curtain so that my lights actually work. And it figures that this right here would be a problem. I think I'll fix that. Give me a second. There I am. Ta-da! Anyway, how are you doing? My name is Wynne Blue. I'm a musician and an artist out of Seattle, Washington. Actually, it's closer to the Seattle metro area, and if you're going to be weird about it, I'm actually from Bothell. But Bothell isn't that bad. And it's clean, and my neighbors are nice. So there's that. Now, today I'm starting a new painting, but first I gotta get this camera situation figured out. All right, that's a little better. Hi, Vicky Sky. It's so nice to see you. I gotta figure out where my chat went. Oh, there it is. So good to see you. Last time you were here, you were hanging out with me for a music stream. So I put your little happy angel over there. Hope things are going well for you over there in the Eastern time zone, and that you got all your stuff together. Tonight I'm going to be doing a new painting based on a whole new photograph, and the photo I have needs to be printed, which is something I kind of hoped I would do, but did not. So I'm going to open up a browser over here and open it up on my laptop and get it printed. Doing research. Well, I am still processing the passing of my little buddy. And every time I see another little dog, I just want a new one. I want another dog. I want another friend. But that none of them will be like Fred. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to focus on the good stuff. And remember, just remember that I was good, you know? I was a good person with my dog. So as soon as I find this picture, I'm going to share it on the screen. Okay, now I'm going to turn around. I'm going to find myself a screen here to show you what's going on. I wonder if I can do it like this. Oh, I sure can't. That was weird. So let me see if I can get kind of a different thing going on. No, that's not it. I need to find that screen. Yeah. What you saw on my screen was actually my dashboard for streaming everything. So that's, whoops. Trying to figure out display capture. There we go. Add existing. Let's see if that does it. Oh, there we go. This is a picture that, I get it out of the way here. This is a picture of my mother and her sisters and mom. So it's my grandmother, my mom. So it's all the women, the uppity Southern women that I grew up with. And I kind of liked the composition of this. How it, even though it's kind of weird and blurry and such, I think I can make something out of it. And it's going to go on my canvas. But first, let's see if I can turn that off for a second. Isn't it though? It was taken in 1983. 1983. So I'm going to do some quick color correcting. Let's see if I can get a better look at this. Audio. Window capture. Select a window. There we go. We can see that. And I'm going to make it a little smaller because I want to do a thing with it. Let's put it right there. And this is not my preferred edit. But I'm going to see if I can do that. This is in Photos EXE, so I am going to be painting it. And I want a little more color in it. So I'm going to do a couple of adjustments here. Turn up the saturation a little bit. I'm also going to change the warmth so it's a little... I mean, this is a photo of a photo. My sister was going through all of these photographs, and she found a stack of them from when she was about 2 years old. And in this same session where they were having pictures like this made, they also stuck the toddlers in one picture and took a picture of them as well. And there they are, 2 little kids, just kind of, why am I sitting here? She didn't send me that picture, but she sent me this one. Let's see. I want more green, so I'm going to put more green in it a little bit. Sharpening it won't do anything, but it will help me out with my composition. Because you can see over here, I don't know if you can see that thing going on, but over here in the trees, I want that to be green. So I'm probably going to use a different green. But there's definitely going to be, these are navy dresses, like navy blue. And there's a light blue in the same color family. I might crop it, but I don't really want to crop it. I like that the ladies are in the middle of the picture, right there in the middle, which gives me a bunch of freedom to just kind of a fun leafy background if I wanted to. And my mother's hair never looked like this when I was growing up. This is a really bad permanent wave. Okay, that's way better than it was. Sharpness is all the way up. And now I'm going to print it. Okay. Now let's see if I can print this baby. And I know you can't see the print dialog, but that's what I'm doing. I'm going to print it as landscape, and I'm going to put it down as a 5x7, so it doesn't take up too much of that middle. All right. I'm going to go ahead and print it and cross our fingers. I hope it doesn't print it too dark. It's taking a while, so I'm very concerned. It's done. Okay, here it is. Printed, la la la. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to need to do is I'm going to switch to my drawing surface. Stay up there. Where did my tape go? Oh, looks like we are slanted a little. Okay. So here we go. Here's our photograph. Now what I did with Freddy's is I did it in sections and transferred those sections onto my canvas to give me kind of a basic idea of what I wanted to draw. And that is why the painting over here looks pretty different from what was in the original photograph. It's not quite the same composition. But I'll admit, I was distracted by the reboot of Quantum Leap. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do something similar with this. But first, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this on the canvas. So I'm going to move my canvas and do it on the drawing board. Quantum Leap? Have you never heard of Quantum Leap? Well, you're in for a treat, my friend. Okay, Quantum Leap is a science fiction time-traveling show, and it originated in like the early 1990s. It's centered around a scientist named Sam Beckett. And Sam tried this experimental time travel machine. He jumped into this time travel machine, and instead of just traveling to another time, he traveled to another time by occupying someone else's body. So he might show up in 1966, but he wouldn't be himself. He would be popping into the body of someone else and living their life for them. And each of these characters that he jumped into, they had their own problems, and they discovered after a couple of episodes that he must be there for a specific reason. Why am I here? I'm here to correct something in this person's life that they may or may not be able to figure out for themselves. And when he had reached his goal and changed the timeline enough through the actions of this person he inhabited, he would jump to the next time and person. Pretty wild, huh? So this show ran from probably 1990, probably several seasons. You can find it on streaming pretty easily. And they did a reboot a year or two ago with a new scientist working on the same time machine, hoping to find Dr. Beckett. It is such a 1990s show, but I was not watching the 1990s version. I was watching the recent one, and I really liked it. But it got canceled after 1 or 2 seasons, I think. It's very sad. But I love a good time travel story, so I stuck with it. I hate it when they do something really cool with a TV show and they decide that since nobody jumped on the bandwagon in numbers that they liked, they just cancel it. It's my least favorite thing about streaming. There's so many shows that just had a lot of potential, but like there's one on Netflix right now. It did 1 whole season. It ended on a cliffhanger, and people petitioned and did cosplay outside the Netflix offices. And Netflix said no. Sorry, we're not going to do that. It was also kind of sci-fi. It's an easy show to get distracted by. At least for me it is. I don't tend to like television shows that a lot of other people like. Like my husband loves Crunchyroll and all the K-dramas. He loves that stuff. And there's no doubt in my mind that K-dramas are amazing. But one of the big reasons I don't watch a lot of foreign television is that a lot of the really good stuff is subtitled. It's not dubbed. And dubbing can really ruin a foreign film. And I just don't want to get stuck in my seat. I used to really enjoy foreign films, and I didn't mind the subtitles, but these days, when the anxiety runs a little high, I just can't do it. Okay, so now I have this. I don't watch much TV. I think that's a good idea, especially when there's so many other screens grabbing our attention. It can really distract you because most people, I don't know about you, if I'm going to truly enjoy a television show, I got to be sitting and doing nothing but watching. I have to dedicate my time to watching the screen. In a day and age where screens can really, really mess up your head. There are a number of movies that I've wanted to see. I really want to see that film, Sinners. Because I like a good vampire flick, you know what I mean? Staring at two monitors for the last 12 hours, I get you. I totally get you. For 30 years, that's all I did. 9 to 5, staring at a screen, 8 to 10 hours a day. Come home, barely looked at my computer. I would do stuff like this. I need this to, come on, focus, there we go. And I just got an email recently from a recruiter that I trust. And she wants me to apply for a job. I don't want to do it, but I'm doing it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. All right, here we go. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. This is the closest thing I have to a highlighter. then again, I need to find out what the center is. Now I'm going to be very unconventional. I'm just going to fold this instead of drawing a line down the middle. Uh-oh, YouTube is giving me issues. I might have to change my audio here for a second. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn this all the way down. And we're going to change music here for a second. There's this particular lo-fi artist that I try to avoid. Because they do this thing, they use little bits and pieces to remix. Okay, let's try this. There we go. Yeah, turn it down just a little bit. So it's background. I tell you, the hardest part of this whole streaming thing is making sure that I have music that doesn't get in the way of... I don't monetize on YouTube. Because I don't think I'll ever reach that kind of audience. But it's still kind of nice to have it up there, you know? And the sad thing is that I might have to remix the audio a little bit. All right. I think I have a little something here. Let's find out where our center is. And I really need this to stop going out of focus. This is so annoying. Let's go in just a little bit more. There we go. So I hope your studies are going well. I hope your day has been good. It's been pretty sunny here in the area. In hindsight, I probably should have put a grid that's smaller and centered. I think I might print again. Hang on. Try printing this one more time. Then maybe this time I will get it right. All right, we're gonna get another printout. Yay! Studying is good. I'm currently just researching songwriting. Are you writing songs now? I'd love to hear one of the songs if you come up with one based on your research, because I have not researched a single thing. And I probably should. I should probably be doing that. Songs. Have you recorded any of them yet? Because that would be quite a body of work. There we go. That makes more sense right there. Curious where the lines are, though, when it comes to creative writing. Now, what do you mean by lines? They may be too graphic. Well, who's to say it's too graphic, really? Depends on graphic. Is it violent graphic or is it sexual graphic? Okay. Lots of profanity and a bit of violent imagery, some very strong emotions. if it's what you feel, if it's what's in your bones, yeah, because he had a lot of hatred. What he did in early 2000s, he wouldn't be able to perform today. That is very true. He had a serious, serious bone to pick with his ex. But I guarantee you, there are rappers and hip-hop artists that are putting out pretty much the same thing. You might not hear about them. Mostly the graphic stuff is sexual in nature. Have you ever listened to Sublime? Sublime did some triggering, I'll have to say. I won't say some of their more famous works. I don't think that would be very helpful, but I can remember listening to that music in my 20s. The drugs and the alcohol and the misogyny. It is. It is, but here's the thing. Writing the song and sharing the song, two different things. It is hard knowing where the line is. And when you hear people complain about cancel culture, this is what they're talking about. My research has come up with interesting results, but today it's difficult to know what's socially acceptable. If you create art based on what is socially acceptable, you will throttle yourself as an artist. And there's a lot of art out there that people probably should be keeping to themselves. But I'm not going to tell them not to. I've read articles about how cancel culture has throttled comedy, how it has changed the way that people make movies. That kind of thing. And what do? Right? There's vulgarity and there's violence and greed, all of these negative emotions, you know? All of these negative emotions that people need to get out of their system. And I can't think of a way to create art that doesn't get emotion out of one's system. You know, you have art that reflects social constructs and the frustration with them or the celebration of them. There's just a lot out there for people to process, and you have to think, art helps other people process as well as yourself. Okay, I think I have a better grid here. And it's taking me some time to get the grid proper. And you know, it's scary when you make something that may be controversial. But that's something a lot of artists overcome in the name of their art. There are still people out there that are making music that people have a hard time listening to. Like, for instance, somebody made a request. Somebody made a request of me several weeks ago for a song that was very powerful, but it had a lot of imagery in it that didn't sit well with me. And not because it was socially unacceptable, but because it was doing its job. It was making me think, and it was making me think about horrible things that humans do to each other. I ultimately told him, no, I'm not going to cover that song. It's well written. The person who wrote the song has a wonderful voice, but that's not a song I feel is something that I can do. Oh, that was loud. Oh, I can't see the folds in this. It's so frustrating. I really want to get the pencils down and at least some color on this. I think my songs could help, but I also know they can hurt. But you know, Vicky Sky, there are a number of songs out there, and the ones that I've written, some of them that came from the very bottom of my soul and were honest to a point where I was embarrassed to even bring them to the band. Those were the ones that resonated the most with the people who listened to them. And I had people come up to me and say, I've listened to your record so many times because this song spoke to me. I mean, not all of them are going to do that. But if there's one thing people have told me that is right and has rung true, is that the more honest you are with your art, with your writing, with your sculpture, with your music or dance, the more honest you are, the more people you will reach. the more people you will reach and the more impact you will have in either direction. So you have to think, make your art for yourself, don't make it for anyone else. Write your songs for yourself, don't write them for anyone else. Now, some people will tell you otherwise, but ultimately it's up to you. Do you have faith enough in your message? Do you think your message would benefit someone? When it's all done, will you have said what you wanted to say in the way that you want to say it? Because that's kind of important. Some of the most controversial songs that I've done have not been about a social issue. They've been about a very specific person. And I guess that's where me and Eminem cross paths. He spent the early part of his career talking about the things that were bothering him. He had an intense love for his daughter and an intense hatred for her mother. And he wrote about that. It was genuine. It was true. It just really... Oh, you wrote them for someone. Are you concerned that for a specific person or for other people to hear? Researched him because he was the most controversial with lyrics. But then I was directed to Korn. Yeah. There's a reason that guy was... There's a reason that guy is first and foremost, he's like up there, why you know their band name, why they were so popular. It's the songwriting. That, and he did weird things with his voice. Now this Monday, I challenged myself to write a song based on my experience with relationships in my 20s. And I decided I was going to use a very popular female vocalist that I knew wrote her own songs, her own lyrics. because a lot of her songs were about heartbreak. And that's another powerful topic. I'm trying to think of the primary songwriter, frontman for Korn. His name escapes me right now. Jonathan Davis. Yeah. I haven't really kept an eye on what Korn is doing these days. I do know that Davis is an animal lover, and he's done a lot of stuff for dogs. Very much loves dogs. Immersed in just reading about him. He's a very interesting fellow. He really is. I think he's close to my age. Let's see if I can find him. I remember people getting all weird about him because he was, because he wore dreadlocks. Bright Eyes. I don't think I've heard of Bright Eyes. I probably have, but I don't remember. Wow, there's a lot of stuff here on Davis. Very fascinating fellow. He's very fascinating. Let's see. I think I'm going to start here. Okay. Uh-oh, I have to do math. I've got one here and one here in the middle. Math, yay! So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to figure out what is a 1-inch equivalent from a 5x7 to a 16x12. I should just eyeball it. So what I have 6 inches here. This is a tough one. It's only tough because I don't really like doing math. It's not hard, it's just a lot of brain. I'm having a hard time with this. I should just use a calculator. You know what? I'm just going to eyeball it. F it. And if it turns out weird, it turns out weird. It's art for fart's sake. I do about 1 1/4. What does 1-inch scale to when resizing from 5x7 to 6x12? Man, I really wish I knew. That's the math question, but I don't think it'll turn out quite right. So I'm just going to eyeball it, and I'm going to work from the inside out. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go work from the inside out. Is that 1 1/2? I'm going to go 2 1/4. I think 2 1/4 wins. That's the math, yeah, and I do it all the time. I do it all the time. Yeah, I know it doesn't quite fit. So I'm gonna measure 2 1/4 on either side. because they're rectangles. And they might not be perfect, but they don't have to be perfect. They just have to be close. Because it's never ever exactly what you want it to be, right? But like I said, it's probably not going to be perfect, just simply because the Freddy one wasn't perfect when it came to scaling it. Now some people, they have a projector, but my projector, I think I gave mine away because it was terrible. Okay. So here's what we have. We have 2 1/4 equals 1 inch. And so what I need is something that equals 1 1/2. No, 1 1/4. Yeah, we're gonna go with 1 1/4. So 2.25 is 1 inch. So 1.25. So that's 1 1/2. No, that's 1 1/4. And 375 over 100. That's about 1/4. Oh, I started from the end. Yay. All right, had to Google but not understanding the answer. Yeah, it doesn't quite work because I'm not doing squares. I folded the paper to get the grid. So while these are 1 inch, these are, I think, 1 1/4, 1 1/2. Yeah, these are about 1 1/4. It is very confusing, but I think I got it. Well, like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. But I'm going to go with it. And if it turns out fat, then it turns out fat. Because I have a feeling a lot of these lines just are not straight. It is definitely confusing, so I'm gonna zoom in on this canvas now that we've got it all figured out, or at least are kind of close. I'm gonna put my picture up here out of the camera range. I'm gonna see what I got here. Measure twice, regret once. So I'm just getting some heads in here. And let's see if we can get some bodies. Let's see, the feet come down here. hard to see. I've got it kind of washed out. Come on, let's focus down here. Come on. There we go. Now it's kind of, you can kind of see it. I'm going to keep my hand right here so it has something to focus on. Okay, so oh, you can see it good. Little by little, I want to get these things in place. Tiny little details, one at a time. One at a time. Yeah, there's a lot to process in here. Come on, focus. I wonder if I should just keep moving. Come on, right down here. Right down here, little Cam. There we go. Thank thank you for that subscription. 6 months in a row. That means a lot to me, Vicky. Thank you. I hope you enjoy the art. The art and the music, 'cause sometimes it's one or the other, and sometimes it's both. Yay, love emoji. I do like that. That's like one of my favorite animated emojis that I made. Okay, here we go. 13 hours is enough. Yeah, that's a lot of research. That is a lot of research, my friend. All right, it's not perfect, but it is very, very close. And what's funny about this picture is if you look at their feet, my grandmother has her little one foot in front of the other doing a model's pose. My mother and her older sister, they're just kind of standing there. It's kind of funny. I've decided it's worth the risk. People may not like it, but for those that do, it could help them. I think that that's, were it me, I would hold back because I'm just very self-conscious. But I think that moving forward, I always have a lot of respect and admiration for people who put it out there. You know, my sister is always giving me grief. She says, how can you put your life on the internet like that? And I say, I'm not putting my life on the internet. What I'm doing is I'm sharing my craft. I'm sharing my craft. Okay, I gotta get a few more details in here, and then I can start improvising a little. In the deep South where I grew up, it was kind of a big deal that you look a certain way in pictures. And that meant standing at an angle with your feet in a certain way, maybe your hands in a certain way. It's kind of a big deal. And this was like the 70s and 80s. I remember when I was probably 10 years old, my mother signed me up for a modeling class. It was like finishing school, but not. And they taught you how to stand, how to put your hands in your pockets. that kind of thing. Hardly seems worth it to worry about how your hands fit in your pockets, but I guess that's what the models did. Use my eraser a little bit. Isn't it though? It looks really great. I'm really glad that this is turning out the way it is. It's not perfect, but we've got a pretty good base here. And I'm using a very soft pencil for this, which means I'm smudging it everywhere, but once I get a good layer of paint on top, I'm going to lighten up the eraser, I'm going to lighten up the pencil things a bit, and then my first layer of paint will go on. And the longer I go with this, the more detail I'll end up putting in it. I didn't put a lot of detail into the Freddy painting. It came out with the paint, so I just had kind of an outline. And I'll admit I'm a little concerned that I'm gonna have a bit too much in here. So let's see, what have I got? Let's back up a little. This one has a very different grid, but I wanted to put it up here anyway. So we have my Auntie Karen, my Auntie Suzanne, my grandmother Mimi, and my mother, who I called Mama. I think I might pick out a palette between streams and then just use those colors. Because there's a lot of really pretty blues in here. Mimi, it's short for Mary Frances. And my grandmother was born probably right before the Great Depression. And we just called her Mimi. And we called my grandfather Woody because his name was Woodrow. My grandmother called my grandfather Woodrow. So it's Mimi and Woody. A lot of people in that particular region of the South, they would call themselves, grandparents would call themselves something like Papa or Meemaw. And that was not something that my grandmother wanted. She just thought that was common. I thought, okay. But by the time I came along, I didn't really know. I just was taught the name. I knew someone at my boarding school who had a great grandmother with that name. She also had a grandmother named Viola. Oh, Viola or Viola? I like both of those versions of the name. Okay. You know what's funny is that I didn't follow the grid at all. I turned out not following that grid at all. How ridiculous is that? All that trouble, all that headache with the grid. How funny. Oh wait, I did follow the grid. I gotta think a little harder than I have been. But you know what? It looks fine. Okay. That is a beautiful name. I do like that name. Looks like I've got a good base here. Let's see if I can get some shadows down. I'm gonna pull up the picture again. Because the photograph is brighter and I need to know where my Sunshine is. She was French. Her last name was like Beauchamp. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think of what my grandmother's last name was, but if I could remember it, I probably wouldn't say it online because it's probably somebody's password. I don't want to get anybody in trouble. I do know that one of my cousins gave that name to one of his kids. But then again, I also heard a rumor, okay, that he also named one of his sons after a Confederate general, so yeah, I haven't seen him in many, many years. That's probably for the best. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I think these legs are a bit long. And the skirts might be a bit long too. Ooh, everything's wriggling. So let's make sure that these legs and skirts are in the right spot. I hope I don't bend my canvas out of place. Should probably put a book under here or something. I went to Virginia for a field trip doing research on the Civil War. A great experience, love the history. You know what? It is a fascinating history. It's very fascinating, unfortunately. It is a sad history in a way. And I don't say this because I'm trying to be controversial or anything like that, but I grew up with people who idolized the Civil War and everything that it represents. So when I think of the Civil War, I think about people who thought of other humans as property. And I think of how hard those people fought for that. I remember as a little girl going to parts of Alabama where they would have all of these antebellum homes. They were beautiful houses. Beautiful, beautiful houses. They'd have somebody who they would be reenactors, and they would be in these costumes, these period pieces. I have not read the book Beloved. You ever read the book Beloved? I have not. I've read The Color Purple. But you know, it just saddens me. All that stuff saddens me. It's fascinating, but you know, humans have really been horrible to each other over the centuries. You know, they've just been awful. Now, I can't remember who wrote Beloved. Who wrote that? Was that? I keep wanting to say Oprah Winfrey. But when I think of Oprah Winfrey and books, I think of her book club. You know, her always bringing authors on the show and promoting their book and all of that. Toni Morrison. Okay, there we go. I think they made a movie out of that, didn't they? Formerly enslaved woman in post-Civil War whose home is haunted by the ghost of her baby, whom she killed to save from slavery. I bet that's a very intense read. It is a very intense read. You hear a lot of, I think the older I get, the more details of that period of time will surface, and they make me very, well, I'll just come right out and say it. They make me ashamed to have grown up in a state full of people who think that that's okay. But it was a rough time. I mean, can you imagine? Being a human being and being treated like you're less than. You know? I just think of that and my heart breaks. Probably because growing up in the South, I had a number of friends who were black, and they did not hold back. They were bold and loud, and they loved to laugh. But I know that there are things they'll experience that I never will. It's based on the true story of Margaret Garner. Struggled writing the assignment because finding the history is kind of lost, yeah. And there's a huge movement to just erase that part of history. And why erase it? Why erase it? There is no reason to, unless you're hiding something. You know? There are stories I could tell about some of the things that came out of my family's mouth while I was growing up. Things that it took me a lot of time and friendships to unlearn. Kind of glad I was able to before I went to university. University is full of all kinds of hearts and minds, you know. You learn really quick that the world is a different place than what you thought. You were angry. I got a B on the assignment because I refused to write something that was speculation. I wanted source material, not a third-person account. I'd be angry with that grade too. I would be quite angry. I mean, you have to have principles when you're writing. And these days there are high school students that just cut and paste their stuff off the internet. I don't think they do it as much as they used to, as much as they use AI, but you know, I've also heard that some schools have started taking away the laptops and making students write out their papers on paper with pens, which means they have to work on their penmanship. Oh, looks like I'm gonna have long skirts anyway. I gotta work on that. Okay, let's see what we got here. I gotta get a better look at this dress. Jesus, is that what we dressed like in 1983? Oof. That's a little better. It's not great, but it's a little better. I wonder if I have a really good eraser or if I've put it away. I had this awesome eraser and I don't think I have it in here. Tell you what, though, I am very much looking forward to putting paint on this canvas. If I could find my erasers. Well, that's frustrating. Our teachers use programs that detect AI, which I've told them is ineffective. Flags things that are statistically similar to AI, but can't truly determine whether a human or AI wrote it. You know, AI is getting better. It really is. It's getting better at faking humans. Which I find kind of disturbing. The other day I got a phone call from someone who wanted to buy my house. Now, I don't appreciate these phone calls. I don't want to sell my house, and I shouldn't have to. Come on, let's focus. Come on, focus, focus, focus. It's still, yeah, it is. The bot that called me was an AI. It sounded just like a real person. I felt stupid. Come on, let's focus. Let's come down. I think I knew that it was a bot when he finally said, "I'm sorry, ma'am. I really can't understand that language, but I understand that you're very angry." Yes, please stop trying to buy my house. Come on, can you not focus? Come on, focus, focus, focus. You can do this. Come on, camera. Here we go. Apparently that was the magic thing. I think I'm going to go with what feels natural here. And that would be skirts beyond the grid, because the grid stops here. But according to the grid on my, it says the skirt stops in the middle. So there is a miscalculation. But I think I'm in a good spot. I can make the skirts shorter and the legs a little bit longer. And that way we will have some kind of proportion in there. I used AI today and I was very wary of it. I used it to fix up my resume. I won't ever get flagged as AI as I can't be very formulaic or concise with sentence structure. But then again, wouldn't be surprised if they ran my work and gave it a false positive. Just because I use a word that's considered a pattern. Oh, that would upset me a great deal. It's like being accused of cheating. So much eraser dust. So much. You can't see it from here, but my entire area around my canvas it's like it snowed eraser dust. I'm a little concerned about AI as far as the resources it uses. There's got to be a way. There's got to be a way to take advantage of AI without it using up certain resources. Oh, thank you. I don't think I'll get paint on this evening. But I think I've made quite a bit of progress. Because what I really wanted to do was get some shapes. To get shapes on canvas that I can get paint on later. In Russia, AI take advantage of you. I know that wasn't a joke, but I was thinking of a comedian a long time ago. Maybe you're thinking of the same guy. You've been doing a lot of research into the past. But he says, he would say it like this. He would say, AI will let you take advantage. You take advantage of AI. In Russia, they take advantage of AI. But in Russia, AI take advantage of you. He was Yakov Smirnov. That was his joke. Take something good about America and then say, in Russia, it takes advantage of you. Oh, that is see, okay. I'm picking up what you're putting down. I'm getting it. I'm getting it, Sestra. Totally getting it. And here I am explaining the joke to you, and you already know it. I'm trying to think of if he's probably got some video here. Yakov Smirnov, 1984. Because he grew up in Russia and then defected to the United States. So it's Yakov Smirnov, like the vodka. And this was back when you emigrated from a country, they called it defecting. You defected to the United States. I think it may have changed since the 80s, but this is more of a global we are a global species. There we go. I don't hear a lot of comedians these days. There's a woman from Scotland that I really do enjoy. There are a lot of women comedians, and they're talking about all kinds of cool stuff, like things that would happen to you in your 20s and 30s, but I'm not in my 20s and 30s anymore. And the comedians my age, if they want to joke about that, I gotta leave the room. It hits a little too close to home. I had first heard of it in the cartoons I was watching, and then figured it had to be something more. Then went and found the source material they were using. Learn something new every day. That's exactly what happens. Something new every gosh darn day. Became part of the vernacular, you know. Stand-up comedy was what we used for humor instead of internet memes. Okay. Now the only thing that's really bugging me are those legs. If you really want to see something fun, go see some of Robin Williams' early stand-up. He was on a lot of cocaine in those days. But you wouldn't know it, he just seemed like an energetic guy. Robin Williams' stand-up bit about golfing was one of the funniest things I'd ever seen. I believe it. 100%. I was on Threads, because Threads is like, you know how Twitter is all about politics and Truth Social is all about, you know, whatever Donald Trump wants. Threads is like the neighborhood gossip spot, and there are some young people who were like, who's heard of this guy? This guy is crazy. And some people came out of the woodwork and they're like, oh, my sweet summer child. And I thought, don't be like that. Imagine discovering one of the great comic geniuses of our time, of modern history, and getting to see all of his stuff at once. That sounds amazing. Because growing up, while during his career, I watched him evolve. Go from a stand-up comedian to a sitcom star. And then to go into movies. Learning about his home life and all that other stuff. My mother had opinions on Robin Williams. She thought he was not a nice man. But that's only because the gossip about him wasn't terribly flattering. I'm more on Blue Sky than X. I got bullied off of X. Yes, there's terrible people there. I actually deleted my account before it got turned into X. I wasn't really using it anyway, and they kept changing the interface. Made me kind of crazy. So I'm on Blue Sky too. And I enjoy that to get my news from, but I don't do much else on Blue Sky. I tend to rant about politics on Blue Sky. And I'll tell you what, nobody interacts with any of my posts. And that's fine. I am okay being in obscurity on the microblogging sites. Cat videos. Oh, I like looking at comics, seeing what people are doing. Because people put their webtoons up. I love cat videos. I've ever since I got Freddie, I've been enjoying dog videos too. I do enjoy the dog videos. I think they're funny. My husband keeps sending me things on Instagram that are tiny dogs wearing clothes. Tiny dogs wearing clothes. The last one he sent me was this little black chihuahua, and its owner had knitted a hat for it that had braided pigtails. And I guess it had a wire or something in it, but the pigtails were like, they're just out and up. Okay, there we have all of these things here. One of my favorite movies by Robin Williams is What Dreams May Come. Is that the one where he went into the afterlife to look for his wife? There's a lot of really good movies that Williams did that weren't funny. They were very serious. He was a very talented actor. I have to get some sleep. Oh, it was wonderful seeing you again, Vicky Sky. I hope you do get a lot of sleep. It's very important for brain function and for resets. Very, very important. It's good to see you. I hope to see you again Monday or next week on Wednesday to work more on this. And DBT, yes, it's the one where his wife died and about the afterlife. I'll have to check that one out. I knew about it, but I haven't ever seen it. Oh, DBT, thank you for your subscription. Oh, it was a gift. Wonderful. Congratulations on your first gift. I love to see that. Wonderful, wonderful. I do appreciate that. And now, DBT can watch without worrying about ads. Yes, thank you. That was really friendly. That was very friendly. We'll see you next. Oh, here's coming an ad break, and neither of you have to worry about it. My friends on YouTube don't have to worry about it, and neither do YouTube. I really look forward to a point where I can do this more often, because it seems I focus more on these projects when I stream them. So let's see kind of how it looks. There we go. I kind of wanted to see these a little smaller, but because I'll show you what the original picture looks like. But you know what? I think it'll turn out just great. I'm going to show you, that is, if I can figure this out. Display capture, monitor 2. Oops, that's not the right one. Let's get rid of that one. We're going to do monitor 1. Because I want you to see exactly what it is that I'm... Nope, that's not the right one. Where's monitor 2? Alright, let's see if this works. That's not how it works. Alright, let's see. Capture automatic. Oh, that's why. That's why. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try something else. There we go. Where are you? Oh, I guess it's not in there. Oh well. It looks like this. It looks like this. Which is kind of obnoxious. Let's see if I can get this going. There we go. That's what it looks like. I'm gonna make it small so you can see it. So this is the picture that I want to do. Oop. Yeah, there we go. Let's make it as big as the canvas is. So that we can go in and out. Ta-da! Very close. Very close. Okay, I'm gonna make that go away. Now, I'll tell you right now, DPT, I am so sorry to do this to you. But I did promise my husband I would only stream for a certain amount of time tonight. That is the end goal. It is going to be really nice. I am looking forward to doing all of this. Oh, come on. Focus, you silly little camera. I hate it that it's not focusing. I wonder if it's defective. But for this, I'm looking forward to the background of the trees and the shade. I'm glad you remembered to stop in and say hi too. I'm really glad because I enjoy talking to the people who stop by and gives me something to focus on. You know, some people, they like to fidget, and this is my fidgeting. Plus, I've been looking forward to doing a second to doing a second painting. One thing I have not done, though, which I need to do, and I'll show you. If you remember this painting, the one with Freddie and her little eagle thing, I've been waiting for the paint on this to cure, and I need to varnish it. There's a lot of shiny parts because I used an extender that was glossy, and I don't want this to be glossy. So I'm going to use a matte varnish on the top of it. Excuse me. Then I'm going to frame it, and I'll probably put it in a show or something. So there's an art show coming up at the end of the summer, and I plan to be a part of it. So that's what's going to happen. All right. So let's go back to Maine here. I'm really glad that you could join me tonight, me and my lo-fi and my ASMR sexy voice. My name is Wynne Blue. You can see my name like right there. Always your friend. On Mondays I do music. On Wednesdays I do art. And if you like what you saw today, hit the subscribe button, hit the follow button, whichever it takes. I'd love to see you again. And for now, I don't know how many people are actually watching me. I have not been rating out lately, so I'm not going to do that again. I'll probably do that again in a couple of weeks, because I would really like to be able to introduce you on Twitch some really great artists, but they all start in the afternoon. That art show doesn't know what's coming. More people deserve to see your work. Thank you. I do appreciate that. What I would like to do is take some of my comics and make a big print of them and then have a show where it just is the comics, because I think the comics are very powerful as well. So to my friends on YouTube, I'm really glad you stopped by, even if it was only for a few seconds. Your presence here is greatly appreciated. So I will see you again on Monday, and I'll be doing music on Monday. So if you follow me or you subscribe, you'll get a notification that says if I'm doing music or if I'm doing art. And I'm always glad that you'll sit by, maybe get a snack and put yourself in a Snuggie or whatever it is that you like to do. So for now, until next time, and I'll have more stories then too. In the meantime, take care of yourself, take care of each other, let somebody take care of you in a good way. Okay? I love you, and I want you to be happy. I also want you to have a good night. Thanks for watching. I love you.